Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is Kate's Dark Diaries. Caitlin Bradbury is your host. I already made my bed and did my makeup, but we're gonna go make some coffee. But first, this is day 3 hair, and I already put some dry shampoo in it, but I'm feeling like I just want it off my neck. So we're gonna see how long that I actually keep it down, because I might just end up putting it in a clip. Let me show you guys what it looks like in a clip, because I can actually do it pretty freaking cute. I split my hair, put a little bangaroo action, pull my hair back a little bit, leave some strands in the front, grab it, twist, give my little clipperoonie, and just clip her. And then she'll get looser as the day goes on. I don't like when my hair is down. I do like when it's long and down sometimes, but because it looks cute, but ultimately a girl's neck be getting hot, and then it's just like, get off of me. All right, enough about me. Let's go make this coffee.
The babies. Oh, the baby girls. Oh, sweet baby girls.
Dang hot in this house. My golly. The first thing that we're gonna do is grab this Nescafe iced coffee roast. My sister put me onto this. So all it is powder, put it in a cup or something, blend it up with some water, and boom, you got your iced coffee. I went to Marshall's and bought this cherry Coke glass. Totally could have gotten something different. It was just the aesthetic for me. I am gonna pair it with some collagen peptides, and my body just needs it. I'm a fat girl trying to lose some weight and could use the collagen, right? I had knee surgery too a couple years ago on my left meniscus, and I can feel my right knee giving out. So collagen is the way to go. I have ice outside, so I'm gonna get that in a little bit, but first I'm just gonna make this really quick, and then I'll stick it in the fridge and we'll go get some ice. I also don't really know how much I'm supposed to put in here. I kind of just do what my heart desires. Water. Okay, now I got my little blender. Pretty much already mixed. It mixes really easy when you put it in water. Like, it's pretty much already ready to go, but I want to mix it a little bit more because I'm not trying to drink chunk. Oop. Now, why did I do that? Come on, Caitlin, think. I'll clean it up in a second. Let's go get some ice. One thing I am happy about being home is that my parents have an ice chip machine, and you bet you, I'll be using it all the time. Now, normally you're supposed to use a scooper. We're just gonna do this. Not anymore. Okay, not working. I don't even know where the scooper is, so it's my hands only. Feel her up. Last time I put the coffee in before the ice and it just wasn't working, so I realized you gotta put ice first. All right, I got the ice in my cherry Coke can. Well, it's not a can, it's a glass bottle, but you get the difference. I still like it. Oh yeah, I guess I should say too, for the people who don't know, I'm a student of forensic psychology. I'm currently in my master's degree. After this semester, I have 2 more full semesters and I'm done. And then I'm gonna go for my PsyD in clinical psychology, obviously with the master's in forensic psychology. Why can I not talk? I am primarily trying to do forensic psychology though. I'm not trying to do like therapy or anything like that. Maybe in some cases, but that's why I'm talking about DARVO. Don't mind me, I have my notes on my camera. Let me jack it up one more time. Don't mind me. I'm looking at my notes on my phone, okay? What does DARVO mean? Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. So people who have gone through DV situations or been with someone that is manipulative, even friends or anything, like gaslighting, okay? That's a big example of it. I'm gonna break it down a little bit further. Deny the wrongdoing ever happened or minimize its impact. Attack the accuser, undermining their credibility by calling them liars, unstable, attention-seeking, etc. Reverse victim and offender by portraying themselves as a real victim and the real victim as the aggressor. People who have experience with other people who are manipulative or gaslight them or narcissistic, as people say, and I say that in quotes because not everyone's a narcissist. I've said this multiple times. The term gets thrown around a lot when it's inappropriate. However, when you are dealing with somebody like that, or just a mean bunghole, and they're like, that was actually you that messed up and it wasn't me, and they're flipping the scenario on you, flipping the cards. This is an example of DARVO. So it's essentially having the victim become the aggressor, even though they're the victim, and the aggressor becomes the victim and the poor me. I don't know why I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this. I think it's just because I've been seeing a lot more things on social media about DV. And this doesn't have to just apply to domestic violence. I mean, this can be in a slew of other things, but domestic violence is where you see this a lot. And I just feel called to talk about it, so we're gonna get into it more. DARVO often overlaps with gaslighting, denying facts, and making victims doubt their sanity. So I'm going to use this example about my own life and how I experienced DARVO, because I didn't really learn the term, not even in school. I learned it in therapy, but the first time that I can kind of remember this happening on like an outside scale, outside of my family and like friends, was this time. So I was working somewhere and I had a coworker, position of authority. Long story short, he had ended up sexually assaulting me, and I reported it to the place of work where I was working. And the amount of things that were said to make it look as if I was the aggressor was astronomically nauseating. And so this is the first time that I experienced that. I mean, I even have it in writing of like this person saying, hey, tell this about this person, me, that they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Don't you remember that she was doing this? Like the flip of the script was crazy, and it traumatized the living crap out of me. And I learned a lot from this scenario. So that's just one example, because half the time when the victims get blamed too, like you're already so down bad that how do you flip the narrative? And this isn't so much as a video of being like, okay, this is how you flip the narrative, this is how you blah, 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 blah. I just want you guys to know what DARVO is, because when I was in this situation, to me, I was like, how is everybody believing this person and it's getting flipped on me? And then it caused me to act out a lot more. So some of the other examples that they've given, obviously, if I've said DV, but the sexual misconduct, narcissistic behavior, workplace bullying, medical malpractice, institutional settings, some of the psychological impacts on victims and observers that I've already told you, especially from my own life experience, is that it leads victims to self-doubt, shame, PTSD-like symptoms, and bystanders may side with the offender, perceiving them as more credible. And I want to make this a point too, is that DARVO is not uncommon. DARVO is not just for people in DV. The impacts of it are almost worse, because when you are dealing with somebody and they're flipping the script on you, that's one person and it already hurts because it's like, you did this, blah, blah, blah. But when you get a whole army of people that don't know the full situation or don't understand mental health and its aspects and like why people do what they do, or to look for the signs of like, I think there's a little something deeper than this, because you would be surprised about how many people lie in their real lives about things to get away with stuff. But DARVO sucks when your perpetrator turns literally everyone against you. Like, that is a different type of isolation and pain that is almost indescribable and makes me feel more compelled to talk about DARVO. It's not fun or cute to do that to somebody. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, like I think I just feel guilty for things sometimes and I flip it on the other person, like, understand now that that's not right and you shouldn't be doing that and you need to make a change like yesterday. Not judging you for it, but at the same time, like, emotionally, I need you to do a little bit better. Like, this is wrong to do that to people. Take accountability when you do something. Deal with the impacts of life. Studies show DARVO reduces perceived offender culpability and reduces willingness to believe victims. Again, every single thing that I've had happen to me, which is what made me come home and crash out, most of it was to DARVO. Literally, I look like, if you were to ask some people, it's crazy because like in the military, I look one way, and then outside the military, I look completely different. And then even on the civilian side, ask different groups and I look a different way. It's just crazy because all of the things that have happened to me, literally every single time it's been flipped the script on me that I'm the crazy one, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a liar, I'm all this stuff, even though I literally had proof. It does not matter. DARVO will happen. Not all the time, but when it does happen, it is debilitating. There's a way to get out of it, to emotionally heal from that. And I know I said I wasn't really gonna get into this, but maybe I will. The biggest thing for me when I've dealt with DARVO is I had to get a better sense of self for myself, because I had no self-esteem, damn near no identity, just from a lot of the things that I had been through. I kind of knew like who I was, but at the same time, I really didn't. I was like a lone wolf my entire life. And now that I've had therapy and I've really gotten into spirituality and my psychology forensic studies, I feel so much more confident as a person that if somebody were to try those tactics on me today, all of the people standing behind them go ahead, cool. Don't care because I used to be a person too that would judge other people when they would crash out or like have issues and whatnot. In my past, I have believed people that were perpetrators and believed that they were the victim. Absolutely. Or like when you get into a new relationship and your boyfriend or girlfriend is like, oh my God, my ex is so crazy and blah, blah, blah. Typically when you start dating someone new and they're like, oh my God, my ex is crazy, you're looking at that and you're already putting blame on the other person. Really, you don't know why they're saying that. Why are they saying that? What led them to be crazy? Is it a DARVO tactic where they're trying to make themselves a victim and make the other person a perpetrator when really it's opposite? You would be surprised at the lengths that people would go to lie or manipulate to make themselves not have guilt. And half of them, some of them, don't even have guilt. So they'll just be like, no, it's not me. And genuinely think it's you. Like, DARVO's not a thing to them. That's just their life and they're living it and their freaking storyline. It also brought me a lot of comfort to know that each individual person on this planet is living their own life and has their own reality. We're all in the same reality, but each person literally has their own life, their own lane, and they're staying in it and they just don't care about anything else other than themselves. Selfish, but like at the same time, like you kind of gotta be, right? It's your own life. That took a lot off my plate too when I realized like all the things that have been done against me with the DARVO tactics, because I'm living my own life. I know what happened. I know the results that happened from it. I can see the results that happened from it. I literally gained like 100 and something pounds. I just have all these things where I'm like, it's not fake, like it really happened, even though people want to act like it didn't. So I feel for you if you've gone through this or are currently going through it, but just know like people saying things about you and flipping the script has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So I was just reading in school, actually I think it was like 2 days ago or something, but we're learning about adverse childhood experiences, and unfortunately it's really sad to say, but in one of my PowerPoints, I forget the exact statistic, but they were saying essentially that kids who experience DV or primarily sexual assault at a young age, that they're not believed. That's sad, because majority of the people who hear this information or it gets reported to, unless they're like a power of authority, like law enforcement or a school teacher or something like that. Not saying it's all the way in the clear there either, but statistics show that majority of the time people can't believe that somebody would do that to somebody else, that they're more likely to believe the perpetrator than the victim. So it actually makes it easier for people who are perpetrators to get away with things, which sends me to the moon. Sends me to the moon! Which is exactly why I started this page, because I can't help but talking about mental health and how it affects people. And I don't want to just talk about mental health and the I'm depressed, let me get out of this way. Totally been there. Love the creators who talk about it. I want to talk about I'm depressed because somebody did something to me, or I'm depressed because I did something to someone else and I can't understand why. Does that make sense? Like on a criminal aspect, we can take away anxiety and all that stuff. I've had it too. Like I want to go more in depth. Why do you have anxiety? And I want to figure out how I can help people understand on a deeper level that people act a certain way because of something. People always say, well, they're just doing that because that's just them. No, people will tell you more about themselves without even ever speaking a word to you. So even with all this DARVO stuff, I made a TikTok, I think yesterday, talking about the things that I've learned about studying forensic psychology and how I've applied them to my real life. And one of them was realizing that people who stand behind other people, like who have perpetrated something on somebody else, they're ignorant. Not because they're stupid, but because they don't understand the full depth of looking at the broader picture and looking at the behaviors of each. Now, this goes into say too, sometimes you are going to come across people that are really, really good at playing the society and not allowing people to see that dark side of them until they get into relationships. And I understand that this is more prominent in relationships, but even friendship wise and other ways, there are some people who will pull the wool behind the mask, or whatever the saying is. However, you can still look deep at someone. And I don't mean like just a hypervigilance aspect. I mean like if someone, like I was at the bar, for example. I don't drink, but I was with my dad and his friend a couple weeks ago in Ohio. And so we're sitting there, my dad and my dad's friend were chopping it up. And I'm just watching people for like 2 hours straight. And my dad's friend finally goes, dude, you haven't talked at all. Like, are you good? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just sitting here, like I study psychology and whatnot, so I'm people watching and I just kind of want to see what's going on, watch the table. Well, long story short, there was people behind the table from ours, and they were older people, probably in like their 50s or 40s, and they're all talking, males and females. You can tell some of them are together. And I know there's gonna be other people out here who are gonna laugh when they hear this because they do the same thing, but I've got something in my eye. Easily, I could see whose wives wanted their husbands more, what husbands hated their wives, what husbands secretly were looking at other women, how husbands felt towards the other men. It was crazy. Like, and a lot of it was based on their knees. Caitlin, their knees? Their knees! Their knees! You wanna know how? So if somebody is sitting like this and I'm having a conversation with you and this is the next chair, okay? Pretend someone's there. They're sitting there talking. My knees are facing you and I'm engaged. I'm la 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 la. Now if you're still here, if I'm there and my knees are forward, and my body is slightly turned, I'm engaged, right? But if someone's sitting here talking to me and I'm like this and just my head, they're not as engaged. That's just one example of what I was doing. So you can look at things like that. I look at people's facial expressions. I look at their hands. I look at their knees. I even look at their feet, at which way they point. I look at everything about a person, and I forgot how I was tying this into DARVO. Oh, because I don't expect the average person to do this. I think I do it a little bit more hyper vigilantly because I do have PTSD. I just read like a book. I read like a book and I listen to everything that somebody says. You ever talk to somebody and they say something like 2 years ago and you're like, I don't really know if I like what they said. Was that a dig at me, low-key? And then like years go by and they say something else and it's like, oh, you were my op this whole time. And then you find out that they were really talking crap about you the whole time and like doing DARVO. And it hurts. But once you learn something like that, you kind of pick up on the signs to do it for the next person, to screen. Because you always want to be screening people, right? You don't need to be friends with everybody. You don't need to be talking to everybody. You don't need to be messing with everybody. Now, I guess we are going to get a little bit into how to counteract a DARVO. Because when it's happening in the moment, obviously if you don't have boundaries and whatnot, it's just going to run rampant. If you're coming from a healed version or you have boundaries, it's going to be a little different. So let me tell you. Learn how the tactic works. Check. That's what I'm telling you right now. Hopefully you guys get it and I'm explaining it well enough. If not, drop a comment below and let me know. 2, document incidents, dates, times, messages. This is something I always used to do, especially in the Marine Corps and prior. My mom is really, really organized with things, and so she taught me from a very young age to document everything. If somebody says something, document. And when I had my own traumas that happened, I had some documentation, but I let it go because I was like, I can't deal with it. Boom, just delete everything and whatever. Wish I didn't do that. So I'm taking it. Take it from me right now. Document everything. Set strong personal boundaries and disengage from circular arguments. That's something that people who are manipulative and love to gaslight do. They just go in circles. Circles. If you have boundaries, you ain't going in a circle. I said it once. I'm not saying it again. Don't let somebody play in your face. That is the worst thing that you could do, and you're just asking to be played with if you let somebody play in your face. It's okay, baby. I've been there too, okay? I had to learn this too. That's how I became a strong woman. You gotta go through the trenches first. Seek support from trusted networks or professionals. Let me be very, very clear on this. When you're going through a DARVO situation, if your friends turn a blind eye to you, or like they're still there, but they're not really talking to you about it enough, or like not really giving you support, like reaching out and checking on you, drop your friends. They're on the perpetrator side, or they just don't care about you. One or the other, because I had the same scenario where, I'm gonna be honest, like when I was 21, I think it was like a couple weeks after my birthday, I went to a bar with some friends and I woke up and a man that I thought was my friend was doing stuff to me. And so I woke up and told my friends, literally none of them cared. And the next day I texted him and was like, if you ever talk to me again, I'll report you to the police, blah, blah, blah. Still have, to this day, have not talked to him. I had a really good girlfriend for like maybe 15, 16 years. She would allow him to go to his house, stay the night. She lived in a different state, so he would fly down there with him and his buddies, literally go hang out. And I turned a blind eye like an idiot. Don't do something stupid like that. Because that told me everything I needed to know. I would literally vent to this person about, hey, he did this, that, and the other. Never see anything in response. But I would be like, well, I can't like be a bad friend and like tell her not to hang out with him because, you know, that would make me bad. No, I wish I would have cut that off sooner. So learn from me and don't do that. Like, if anything, seek support from a professional. You want to talk to family too if you have trusted family and friends. Like if they are being there for you, heck yeah, take that. I'm telling you, when you go through the worst times of your life, especially with DARVO, it just wipes away everything within you. It's almost, like I've said, indescribable. You need a lot of support. You need a lot of support because I went through a lot of my stuff alone and didn't have family or anyone to talk to, and it was hell. So now that I do have people that I can talk to about things and I've gone through multiple modalities of therapy, I have such a better sense of myself, and support is just, it's everything. You need people in your life, you really do. Like, we're not meant to be alone. Recognize that it's okay not to win. Your goal is to protect your well-being. This is also very true. Every single time I've gone through something, I have reported it, not at the time, but a couple years later. And some of them I didn't, like the story I just told you. But the biggest thing for me, it was like, I felt like the people who believed my perpetrators are like, oh, she just wants to win. She just wants to ruin them. She just wants to blah, blah, blah. It's not even about winning. It's the principle for me. And I couldn't even get into a courtroom for any of my things. So that kind of hurt me a lot because I was like, I can't get closure on it. But just like this statement had said, recognize that it's okay not to win and your goal is to protect your well-being. I don't know what would have happened if I did get in a courtroom and I did get justice for what I went through. I don't know. I didn't live that reality. But I will say I grew so much as a person, and I have been more empathetic than ever to people. And not the type of empathetic where it's like I'm taking on their traumas, because I've definitely done that to people. I've definitely tried to fix their problems and help them because I felt like I had no one, so I would try to be everything to everyone. It made me more secure, and it made me realize that there's a lot of issues in our justice system. Like there just is. And it makes me want to do better in my line of work so I can figure out what these gaps are and how do we correct them? How do we get people help so they don't have to go through something as bad as I had to by myself? And I'm not the only one. There's literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of women and men who have gone through things like, I can't stop hiccuping, who have gone through things like me, never seeing the light of day of anything, or maybe possibly committing. You know, I didn't do that either. It makes me blessed in that aspect, but I want to keep this ball going. I'm not trying to stuff things under the rug like everybody wants you to. Abso-freaking-lutely not. So it is okay not always to win, because God, spiritual, whoever you believe in, has you on a road for some reason. It looks like a big slap in the face to me, like, wow, you couldn't even get into a courtroom. So all those people behind the perpetrator are like, oh wow, she couldn't even get into a courtroom. She must not have anything. Girl, I had text messages. I know another girl who was also in the military I was with, and she has a social media too. I think it's at Nelsie. Let me look, because I'm going to tag her in here. She was also in the military with me, and she went through a lot of DV situations too, and she has video proof. Like, she put it on social media. Like, I didn't get nothing. It was like a year of interviewing stuff, and then after that, they're just like, yeah, no, we couldn't do anything. And she had the same thing, but she went to court and whatnot, and he still got let go. This man had a video of an axe to kill her. Yeah, tell me there's not a problem with DARVO and other things like that, because now people will, I'm assuming, I would put my last dollar on it that everybody thinks that the situation that I claimed, that I'm crazy and I'm this and that and the other, especially because my big crash out, because that's why I started social media and I gained 100 pounds and cut all my hair off and just went absolutely insane, and it felt amazing in the moment because I had never crashed out before like that, and I had so much trauma, especially with the DARVO. I think the DARVO was worse than anything, than the trauma itself, because nobody was believing me. Nobody was listening to me. Everybody treated me like trash, or that I was other than, that I was a different human being, that I wasn't even a human being, that I was garbage. And after having somebody do something to you, and then knowing that all these people don't believe you and they think something else of you, and this person is like God on earth, oh my gosh, it is hard. Which is why I'm going to go back again and say that support is everything, dude. Like, if you have friends or family that go through things and you don't talk to them, like, you need to really work on yourself. You need to work on yourself, for real. But today's video is really short, and I appreciate you guys being here with me today. I'm sure I'm going to have some more things to talk about, but yeah, I really wanted to talk about DARVO, and I hope that this resonates with some people. But if it also does, I'm really sorry. I hope that you guys can understand some of the information that I have put in here and understand that DARVO, just because it's happening to you, doesn't mean that it defines you. I'm gonna say it again. Just because DARVO is happening to you does not mean that it's defining you. You define yourself. If I can get out of it, you can get out of it. All right, I love you, babies. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.